Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is V. I am a risk management professional with an actuarial and finance background. My mission channel is to help you study smarter, work better, and live happier. One of my objectives is to promote career in math, and today is another episode of the Get to Know the Professional series. So today I am very excited to introduce you to Helena. She is one of my good friends and also my classmate back in university. So today she will share with us her experiences working as a data scientist in Silicon Valley, as well as how she explored different career options. So let's welcome Helena to today's episode. Hi Helena, thanks for being here today. Can you introduce yourself to our community?
Hi everyone, my name is Helena. I was born in China and I moved to Canada for high school and university. Like many of you, when I graduated from high school, I had no idea what I wanted to do. So I picked a program that was very broad, namely the Mathematics and Business Administration double degree at University of Waterloo, joined with Wilfrid Laurier University. I thought by the time I finished 2 degrees, I would know exactly what I want to do for the rest of my life. In reality, that was not the case at all. Instead of diving straight into a well-defined path such as accounting, I actually took my time exploring quite a few different options through different co-op terms. At the end, by the time I graduated, I knew very clearly that I was most curious about how companies create value for the world. And that curiosity first drove me to finance and investment banking, where I learned how to evaluate a company through capital market perspective. And then that same curiosity drove me to Silicon Valley, where I gained a hands-on experience to learn to know how to create value through technology innovation. I first started in the Valley as a data scientist, and most recently I was with Uber working on Maps and Uber AI.
I totally agree. Career planning is not a straight path, and it is always better if we can try different areas to understand what we actually like and dislike. So ultimately, what led you to become a data scientist?
I would say 3 things. First is curiosity, second is skill set, and the third is luck. So curiosity, again, I was curious about how companies create value through technology innovation, and that's how I moved to Silicon Valley. And at the time, I had a lot of experience in analyzing data, unlocking business insights using data. I had a strong background in analytics and statistics. I was very familiar with SQL. So all these skill sets that prepared me very well for the data science job. And the last was luck, actually, because at the time I applied to quite a few companies, and it turned out that I had a really good mutual fit with the startup, and that marked the beginning of my career in data science.
As you have experience working as a data scientist in Uber, can you describe the work there a little bit more?
Well, if you ask different data scientists, they may give you very different answers. And they're all correct, most likely, because data science is a broad field. And today I'm going to talk to you about data science from solving business problem and making product decision standpoint. And I'm going to walk you through an example that might be very familiar to many of you. So imagine yourself arrived at a new city at an airport, and you try to get to your hotel. So you pull out your phone and open the Uber app, and you order your ride, and it shows your driver will arrive in 7 minutes. You think, this is great. As you move towards the pickup spot, you get lost. One thing leads to the other, you miss the driver, and you have to order another Uber ride and wait for potentially 7 to 10 minutes again. With all the things that are going on, arriving in a new city, this is actually a very frustrating experience. So how can data science help to solve this problem and improving user experience? Well, there are majorly 3 steps. First is that data science can be very useful in quantifying the magnitude of this problem. That is to say, scientists can gather data and to estimate how often this problem happens, what is the impact, user experience, rider experience, driver experience, and also on the Uber business front. The idea is to understand whether this problem is worth solving and how much resource we should invest in it, and where does it stand on the prioritization list. And then once we decide that this is a problem that worth the time to solve, then we move on to the second stage. At this stage, data scientists can be very, very helpful in coming up with solutions that using data and different techniques such as machine learning or statistical modeling by using various data. For example, data scientists can come up with a better prediction model, machine learning prediction models, so that the estimation for how long it would take the driver to arrive at the pickup spot will be much more reflective on the actual situation, such as traffic condition, such as the road condition, and the routes the driver is going to take. At the same time, a data scientist can also look into the rider side, given the condition and the situation complexity at the airport, how long would it take a rider to eventually arrive at a pickup spot. And with different information that can feed into the ultimate matching algorithm, and the data scientist can match the rider with the most suitable driver, so that we can create this more smooth and easy pickup experience. And the third part, once we have that, and the third part will be called experimentation. What that means is that once you have this model and you're trying to understand how it performs in the real world, how much better it improves people's drivers and riders' experience on the Uber platform. So there are two things data scientists can do here. First is defining the metrics, thinking about how to measure the success. And the second thing is about how would you design an experiment to properly measure a new model versus the existing solution. As we know, real world are complicated, and there are so many ways that biases can be introduced to the design. So it's data science job to apply the right statistical knowledge to control those biases or remove them, and so that we can measure the impact of a model as objectively as possible.
So what do you think make a good data scientist? Are there any tips that you can give our community for those who would like to pursue this career path?
Well, a good data scientist is a very strong problem solver. And I'm going to break that down in 3 pieces. First is the technical skill. A good data scientist possesses strong coding skills in Python and R, and also statistic and modeling skills. And then on the soft skill side part, a good data scientist has a really strong business acumen and empathetic communication, so that he or she can communicate data insights, explaining nuances to the stakeholders, especially the ones without a strong technical background. And the last piece is really the willingness to learn and the curiosity. Because let's be frank, no one is going to be a superstar in every single dimension of a data scientist. That's just not possible. However, a good data scientist can often understand that what it takes to be very useful and effective to meet the team's needs, so that he or she also feel motivated enough to leverage the strength and also pick up the missing skill sets.
So last but not least, after spending many years working and living in the Silicon Valley, how is it really working and living there?
Silicon Valley is the epicenter of innovation. Here, I've witnessed the most innovative solutions and cutting-edge technology applied to solve the world's toughest problem at scale. So it's quite exciting. At the same time, it's also it has a very strong tech community here. What that means is it attracts people, like-minded people and entrepreneurs from all over the world here. And what that means to me on a personal level is rather the abundant thinking. I no longer see the world as a pie with a fixed size, but rather with innovation and collaboration with people, we can all grow the size of the pie. It's quite empowering too. and here I get used to looking at what I can do, what I can offer, but also be very open-minded about how I can turn novel ideas into great products that really make users' life better.
I hope you find today's episode interesting and helpful if you are interested in a career in data science field, becoming data scientist or product manager and so on. And if you have any questions, feel free to drop your question and comment in the comment sections. And I wish you another happy, productive week. I will see you in the next week episode. Bye now!